Ranchers are often asked, why not charge more?
The advent of large corporations' involvement in beef production or lamb production is really rather recent in the stream of human history.
These corporations got started where the profit could be maximized, somewhere in that gray area between the producer and the supermarket. This prime real estate is called processing and generates $100 billion every year. Across the United States, there used to be many packing and inspection plants. In the 1980s, consolidation, often favored by modern inspection regulations, allowed only a handful of corporations to control the entire processing industry, from feedlots to supermarkets. Since then, family ranches have struggled with the low prices that are set for them.
The more units that you can run through there, then the easier it is to make that whole profitability. Danger on what's happened on that other end is when you have very few entities controlling such a large part of the market, then what sort of influence are they playing on pricing?
Corporate beef production has a complicated history, but the worldwide trend is for these companies to continue to expand. In China, the new breed are called dragon heads. In the US, they're referred to as vertically integrated companies. When a corporation reaches this level, it means it controls all parts of the process, even the job of raising the animals. This is how chicken, pork, and most crops are produced. With beef, production still takes place on family ranches up until the animal is finished. Ranching is the last holdout. If enough go under, then cows will never know anything except a feedlot.
You have the consolidation with the packers, but now what happens if somebody from outside the U.S. wants to come in and own one of those companies, like Swift, for example? What would be the implications there? That maybe puts things at a little bit more risk.
The second great risk is just now hitting the radar. Remember the energy cycle: sun, grass, meat. With industrialized beef production, there is one more item: oil. This is how our feedlots are growing beef. Oil is made into fertilizer and diesel for tractors, which together can grow a lot of corn. Oil powers trucks which haul the corn and cows across the country to feedlots. Later, the cows are trucked to the slaughterhouse and grocery store.
That's a system that's been in place since about the late 40s and the 50s, but that's a system that's perpetuated on cheap oil.
How much of this goes into the production of one of these? I don't know, perhaps about now this is the texture we're used to.
Good. That was good.
Cut.
In effect, the price of food is tied to the price of fossil fuels, and as oil runs out, prices will climb right up into the sky, which ironically is where all the greenhouse gases are being pumped. Fossil fuels are causing smog in cities and contributing to climate change. Unfortunately, research is showing that the industrial animal, with its unusual diet, is also contributing large quantities of greenhouse gases. The United Nations speculated that volatile organic compounds, otherwise known as animal flatulence, may be as influential as automobile emissions. The best way to actually measure the gases is in biobubbles like these. Dr. Frank Mitloehner, an air quality specialist, is the first researcher to be interested in animal flatulence since 1938.
So fresh waste is the #1 source, followed by fermented feed for smoke-forming gases on dairies, while the animals themselves, through enteric fermentation, produce greenhouse gases, and here mainly methane. So sometimes my students and I joke about putting cars into 3 of the 4 bubbles and having cows in #4 and and run them head to head and figure out if it's true that cows indeed rival cows as smoke producers. And but we'll find out.
Ed DePeters, also of UC Davis, is studying the other end of the cow. He wants to understand what happens when livestock diets are altered.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look inside of the rumen of Edwina. So we always put gloves on, so we use some latex gloves. And if you could smell through the camera, what you would smell is you would smell all of the volatile fatty acids that are being produced. So the acetic, the propionic, and the butyric acid that are being produced by the anaerobic fermentation have a very pungent smell. I mean, they're volatile fatty acids, meaning they're volatile, and you can smell them. And if we look, we can see alfalfa hay, the fiber component, and that's what makes Edwina's rumen unique. You can see all the rumen fluid that contains the millions and millions of anaerobic bacteria. And in a current environment, when we're talking about greenhouse gases, we can study methane, we can study hydrogen sulfide, so we can look at the differences if we were to add some kind of rumen modifier. We talk about many different compounds that may change the microbial population. How does that rumen modifier change the microbial population, change fiber digestion, and change the amount of methane that's produced by Edwina?
Modern science may help problems like air quality, but in a few decades, there will be 9.5 billion people to feed. Industrial food production and all its issues will scale production to match.